What's up, everybody? It's Joe with J Blake Photo, and I'm going to interrupt what was going to be a super cool video about tripods to talk about a leak that we just got this morning. I originally saw this on the videography subreddit, and it's now been picked up by Twitter and a number of the Canon photography rumor sites like CanonRumors.com. And what we've got is a photo of the menu system from the R5 where you'll select your resolution as well as some additional information from the poster. So I want to talk about this photo, I want to talk about some of the information that was posted, and then I want to walk through just some of the information that I think will be relevant for these different resolutions. All right, so before we jump in, just real quick, again, if you're not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, go ahead and hit the bell so you get notified, go ahead and hit like on this video if you like information like this, you like Canon cameras and all that stuff, and go ahead and follow me on Instagram. I am at JBlakePhoto. There's a link down in the description. Okay, through all that, now let's talk about this photo. What we have is a picture from the flip out screen of a Canon R5, or at least that's what the photo is purported to be. First of all, I love this menu system. This seems like a much better way to sort through the different options that you have in terms of both resolutions, frame rates, and compression. And I'm going to talk about all of that a little later on in the video, so you'll want to hang around for that if some of this information doesn't really make a lot of sense to you. So my current camera, the EOS R, when I have to select the frame rate and the resolution and the compression, I'm literally just scrolling through this giant list of different versions, and there's exclusions, and when you set certain settings, things like gray out, it's kind of a mess because there's so many options, and I really like what they've done with this menu design. So what it looks like we have here is at the top, you have the ability to sort through what looks like 5 different resolutions. And those different resolutions are 8K-D, 8K-U, 4K-D, 4K-U, FHD. And if you notice on the far left-hand side, you've got what looks like 2 little arrows. I'll bet that's a scroll so that you can get to probably the HD functions for 720p, whereas the full HD is 1080p. So I absolutely love this menu, but I'm going to get back to these resolutions in just a second. And again, this was posted on the subreddit videography, which I will link down below. I'll link directly to this post. But the poster on Reddit, Hanokami, also claims that the camera that you would get about 21 minutes of footage in 8K RAW on a 512 gigabyte CF Express card. Honestly, that's not a huge surprise. I was assuming that, if you just do the math, 8K RAW is going to be a ton of footage. It's going to be a ton of data, and it's going to fill up those cards really, really fast. The downside here, of course, is that CF Express cards that are that big are hundreds and hundreds of dollars. But again, if you're shooting RED or if you're shooting some other type of camera in the pro world, that doesn't matter. You're going to get some great stuff out of this. And in the long term, those costs are going to come down. That's going to be something that's going to be accessible to pretty much everybody for a lot less than it is today. In his post, he also confirmed that there will be no crop in the 8K 30 mode, the 8K RAW, or in the 4K 120. And that if you're recording 8K footage for that full 20 minutes, filling up that 512 gigabyte CF Express card, that there's no overheating issues, which I mentioned in my video that I just posted a couple of days ago, that I thought that might be an issue, but according to this person, no overheating. Interestingly, it mentions that there's going to be no dual recording to the cards, which was my concern when it was announced that these would be one SD UHS-2 card and one CF Express card. There's going to be technical limitations for the ability for the camera to both dump to 2 cards at the same time, but also dump to 2 cards that have different bandwidths. There's a totally different read and write speed on those card sets. It's just different tech. So, I knew that would be a potential issue, and it sounds like that's being confirmed here. All right, so that does it on the information that's posted here, but I did want to really quick go back to those resolutions and talk about those. The 8KD versus 8KU, what that means is DCI versus UHD. So, your TV at home is, 3820 or 3860 pixels wide by 2160 pixels tall. Normally that's a 16:9 aspect ratio, and they call that UHD, or ultra high definition. But you'll notice that 3800 pixels, that's not 4000 pixels, that's not 4K. So in order to get full 4K, there's a different aspect ratio, but instead of slimming it down and recording less pixels, it actually records more pixels, it just does them wider. So it's still 2160 tall, but it's 4096 long, which is how you get 4K. So 4K DCI is actually 4096 by 2060, whereas the smaller 16 by 9 resolution that your TV does is what we call UHD 4K. You're gonna have the same thing on the 8K side, where you're gonna have a 16 by 9 ratio, which is gonna be probably your U, and then you're gonna have the 8KD. At least I hope that's what it is. If it's not, let me know down in the comments. I've been burned before. And then of course you've got full HD. The other question that some people might have looking at this is why it mentions 50p, 25p, 24p. This is probably a camera set to PAL, where normally your standard frame rate is going to be 25 or 50 versus what we have in the States, which is normally going to be 24, 30, or 60. It does do 24p, and then it has down at the bottom, the other question would be these different compression settings. So you have RAW, where there's zero compression whatsoever. You're getting direct readout from the sensor. You've got all eye, which means that each individual frame is compressed, but the frames aren't compressed together. And then you have IPB, where there's a lot more compression inter-frame, which creates a loss of detail in some instances. And then lastly, you have IPB with the little down arrow. That means it's IPB with a lower bit rate. It means that it's adding more compression, less detail, and that is for smaller file sizes. But I really love the idea that you can just kind of scroll through the different resolutions and then just pick which one you want. One thing that is just absolutely bonkers to me is the way the menu system currently works on the EOS R for selecting C-Log profile. It's really just a weird process that you have to go through, and I'm sure that there's a lot related to what features work with C-Log activated and which ones don't. But man, is it a pain to turn that on and off. Now I have custom modes set for that, but still, it's a pain. It could be easier. My hope is it's somewhere in this menu system, or as a part of this menu revamp, we'll be getting a better way to activate and deactivate the Canon log profile. And if you've never used a Canon log profile or a flat profile before, it just gives you more dynamic range and gets you more access to color. So that when you go into edit and you start doing color correction, you've got a little bit more to play with, a little more flexibility in your footage. It's nice to do. If I haven't already done a video on flat profiles and color correcting, maybe I'll do one at some point. It's super fun. And you can do it on everything from your GoPro to your drone to your camera. There's a lot of them that offer various features and options that'll get you a flatter, more low contrast profile so that you can do better color correcting when you go to edit your footage. Anyway, that was just a quick video that I wanted to do after seeing this information. I thought I'd get it out there to all of you so that you guys can talk about it. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Go and hit subscribe, like, hit the bell, and find me on Instagram. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next video. Now I can get back to talk about tripods.